Hey friends, welcome back. I know English can sometimes feel tough, even a little scary, but don't worry. Speak Sharp, we learn together, step by step, with stories that inspire and words that stay in your heart. So sit back, relax, and let's begin today's journey. This is Speak Sharp, where learning English becomes easy, natural, and fun. Here, every story is more than just history. It's a lesson in language, a chance to grow, and a way to sharpen your words. Because at Speak Sharp, English is not just hard study, it's a journey you enjoy. In times of doubt, when hopes were few, a dream of freedom slowly grew. Through chains of fear, through endless night, he rose to lead with steadfast light. With words of truth, with vision wide, he stood with honor, strength, and pride. A nation's voice, a guiding flame, the world remembers Jinnah's name. On the 25th of December, 1876, in Karachi, a child was born who would one day change the map of the world. His parents named him Muhammad Ali Jinnah. At that time, no one could imagine that this little boy would grow into the leader who would be called Quaid-e-Azam, the great leader. Jinnah was different from the beginning. As a child, he was quiet and thoughtful. While other children played loudly, Jinnah often sat in silence, observing the world around him. He was sharp, intelligent, and carried a sense of discipline, even as a boy. His father wanted him to become a successful businessman, but Jinnah's destiny was greater than anyone could predict. At the young age of 16, Jinnah traveled across the sea to London for his education. Imagine the courage it took, a teenager leaving behind his family, his home, and everything familiar, stepping into a new world with dreams in his eyes. London was cold and strange, but Jinnah carried within him a fire, the fire of ambition. He studied law at Lincoln's Inn and worked tirelessly. But London did more than give him education. It gave him refinement. He admired the discipline of English society, the order in their politics, the power of their words in Parliament. Jinnah absorbed it all. He dressed sharply in suits, spoke in perfect English, and carried himself with dignity. These years shaped him into a man who could stand with kings and leaders and never feel small. When he returned to India, Jinnah was not just another lawyer. He was confident, elegant, and brilliant in the courtroom. His arguments were so powerful that judges respected him deeply. Soon, he became one of the most successful lawyers in Bombay. But Jinnah's life was not just about law and politics. It was also about love. In Bombay, he met a young woman named Ratanbai Petit, whom he fondly called Rutty. She was beautiful, full of life, and came from a wealthy Parsi family. Jinnah was serious and reserved, but when Rutty entered his life, she brought color and warmth. Their love story was not easy. Society opposed their relationship. Families resisted. But Jinnah, always firm in his decisions, chose love over opposition. He married Rutty, and together they shared moments of joy and affection. She was his strength, his partner, and his inspiration. But happiness does not always last. Rutty's health began to fail, and in 1929, at only 29 years of age, she passed away. Jinnah was devastated. He had lost not just his wife, but also his closest companion. After her death, Jinnah became more silent, more reserved. The pain in his heart was deep, but out of that pain grew a stronger will. He turned all his energy toward his people. He saw how Muslims in India were being sidelined, how their voices were ignored in politics. Jinnah had once believed in Hindu-Muslim unity, but with time, he realized that Muslims needed a separate identity, a separate homeland where they could live with dignity and freedom. Jinnah became the voice of the Muslims of India. He was calm, determined, and unshakable. His speeches were simple but filled with power. He was not a man of loud emotions. He was a man of clear vision. Slowly, the Muslim League grew under his leadership, and the dream of Pakistan began to spread across the land. The struggle was not easy. The British government tried to resist. The Congress leadership clashed with him. But Jinnah never stepped back. People began to call him stubborn. But history shows us that his stubbornness was actually his strength. He was fighting not for himself, but for millions who believed in him. Years passed, and the demand for Pakistan grew louder. Jinnah's health began to weaken, but his determination only grew stronger. His body was fragile, but his spirit was unbreakable. He attended meetings even when he was ill, spoke to crowds when he was tired, and led his people with unshaken resolve. Finally, on the 14th of August, 1947, the dream became reality. Pakistan was born. The green and white flag rose high, and millions celebrated the birth of a new nation. People cried with joy, families sacrificed, and hopes for a new future filled the air. At the heart of it all was one man, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He gave his people a homeland, but his time was short. Barely 1 year after independence, on the 11th of September, 1948, Quaid-e-Azam left this world. The news shook the nation. Pakistan had lost its founder, its father, its guide. But Jinnah's story did not end with his death. His vision lived on. His words, his determination, and his example remain alive in the heart of every Pakistani. Jinnah's journey was not just about politics. It was about love and loss, about courage and sacrifice, about dreams that became reality. He showed us that one man, with faith and willpower, can move mountains and change history. He was a lawyer, a lover, a leader, and above all, a man who gave his life to a dream called Pakistan. And that is the story of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the man who turned pain into power, vision into reality, and dreams into a nation. Every ending is not the end. It is the start of a new journey. Today, we walk through history, we learned with words, and we grew together. Remember, at SpeakSharp, English is not just a subject, it is your voice, your power, your future. So keep believing, keep learning, keep growing, and always speak sharp.